And we're back, dear viewers, as you are all accustomed here in Good Morning Kuwait. We have our interviews, our lovely guest on Good Morning Kuwait. You know, she explored how education is evolving to meet the demands of rapidly shifting labor markets and new technological advancement. As a published author, Zdena shares why learning how to learn is the most critical skill for career longevity in today's volatile economy. She discusses bridging the gap between global trends and local needs to prepare both today's workforce and the next generation for success. Now, ladies and gentlemen, join us as we discuss how Kuwait can lead the way in future-oriented education. Let's welcome, with that introduction out of the way, Zdena Hruskova, a senior advisor at Kuwait Space Private Academy. Welcome on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. We're excited to have you here because this is, for me, you know, personally, it's the first time I know about the Kuwait Space Company. So
Yes.
I do want to talk to you about, you know, your mission. You know, can you brighten us a little bit, inform us what the mission is, what the statement is, and everything?
Of course. Well, Kuwait Space Academy is basically designed to help Kuwait to move towards a more diversified and private sector-led economy, which depends on local skilled talent. And in doing so, we aim to work with you know, public and private institutions, including the government bodies, you know, oil companies, banks, NGOs, non-governmental organizations, educational institutions like universities, startups, and many, many more. And we sincerely believe that Kuwait is well positioned for this change. It's got a strong institutional capacity, it's got a clear innovation path, and it's got a young, well-connected population, in which we also invest through our pre-incubation program, which focuses on hands-on practical skills like robotics, prototyping, and then through our incubation program, we help these young individuals convert these ideas into successful business ventures, therefore further strengthening the private economy. So in a nutshell, this is basically what we do. We assist individuals and organizations you know, towards basically becoming more independent, more self-reliant, and more effective.
Oh, mashallah, you know, it always brings tears to my heart whenever I hear that, you know, there are active here communities and establishments that seek, you know, future learning prospects, you know, that go alongside technology and embrace it and everything. So I do want to thank you for taking that opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, so there is a concept called, you know, lifelong learning that I do want to talk to you about. You know, why is lifelong? Yeah, why is it so critical? You know, especially in today's economy, in today's world.
Yes. Well, I would say the single answer is adaptability. I mean, you know, the world is changing. It's changing very fast. And any single degree that people gain at the age of, say, 21 or 24 is unlikely to sustain them for their, you know, throughout their life. So, you know, new jobs are being created, old jobs are changing or disappearing. So in this kind of climate, basically, people have to learn, and they have to learn well beyond their university. So while lifelong learning includes any level of education and any age group, it also includes like short courses and professional qualifications, which, you know, people can complete after completing their degree and so on. And lifelong learning is really important. I mean, beyond economic employability, it's also good for your health. You know, it's known to improve your cognitive and physical health. You know, it increases your quality of life. It generates, you know, democratic values, environmental consciousness. So the benefits are really huge. Also, lifelong learning, it includes different modalities. So not only like structured courses,
Yeah.
but also what we call informal learning. And this is a really interesting point because informal learning is actually the main form of learning in the workplace. So people learn by collaborating, asking questions, seeking feedback, getting feedback. So now you could really ask, why do you have structured courses?
Yeah.
Well, because they help you become better at learning informally in the workplace as well. So they give you a good foundation to be, a self-directed learner. This means that you are better able to find your own answers, to set your own goals, diagnose your own learning needs. And all of these skills are very important in the current workplace. So in addition to gaining the skills like, you can learn to prototype, you can learn how to negotiate,
Yeah.
but you will also learn how to be a better learner. And this is really important.
It is, your talk about formal and informal learning reminded me of something. When I was doing my higher studies, one of my professors, this was a class that I think gone to 3 hours or something.
Yes.
And then on the first day of class, she was like, it has been statistically or scientifically proven that, students can only focus in the first 20 minutes. And then this is a 3-hour class. For the entire semester, she would only teach for like maybe 20 minutes, and then the rest of the class is informal learning, where we as students, we have to discuss with the others, we have to talk with them, the professor now is out of the equation.
Yes.
It is us just learning informally, right? Talking, chatting. Sometimes it could be about our daily lives. But the funny thing is, that is one of the classes that I remember the most, right? So again, informal learning is a very working kind of establishment. But this also brings me to the next part of this equation in the learning process, because there are a lot of people now who prefer the online learning experience as opposed to the physical one. And I think for me, even though as someone who has tried the online learning, the information doesn't stick as much as it is, in the presence. But I do want to ask you, why do people prefer, online learning, platforms?
Well, I think the answer is flexibility, especially for adults who are, in full-time employment. They could be raising families, basically juggling multiple responsibilities. So the advantage is clearly there, you can study, you can take an online course in your own time, at your own pace. You can break a larger task or block into smaller segments. So it's in a certain way, it's more manageable. And yeah, I mean, like online learning is, it is something that is happening now, definitely. It's, it's got advantages also because you develop skills like time management and organization, and any employer, when you go to a workplace, to a job interview, and they learn that you completed your degree or any short courses, professional qualifications online, that you have good time management skills, you're motivated, you are resilient, so I mean, there are clear advantages. Having said that, I would still say there is place for in-person instruction, certain courses which require like behavioral, skill application or something like team building, for example, or hands-on courses like robotics. I think they will still benefit from like in-class instruction.
Yeah.
Also, some students, who maybe they have a problem with like time management. I think for these students, like in-person courses would be better. But a high-quality online program, like the ones that we offer in strategic partnership with MIT X-Pro, I mean, these are clearly like high-caliber courses. They are asynchronous, which means that students can, fast-forward the content, rewind it, pause it, until they master the topic. You know, they can join a global community of learners so they can network and discuss ideas. Also, you know, online classes are good for people who, you know, may be shy. So some people just don't like classroom interaction. But I would still say that even then, you know, good online program can help you build the muscle for and overcome certain, you know, challenges.
And I'm glad you brought the example of shy students, because for so many years I've always wanted to learn music, but I've always had problems being in the class and, you know, getting judged by others. And during the Corona days, I took online classes for music, and that broke that, you know, shyness. That broke the. So online classes do offer a sense of comfortability there.
Yes, they do. And I think there is also a distinction to be made. I think like many people feel they might have experienced online learning, especially during crises like, unfortunately, the war, you know, COVID-19 as well. But we wouldn't call it online courses. These are what we call emergency remote teaching, where teachers were forced to use in-class content in the digital space. So these courses weren't designed for online instruction. But what we at Kuwait Space Academy offer are courses which are, you know, designed from the ground up for online learning. We also have in-person courses, which is something that I'm gonna get to a little bit later. But yeah, and also like online instruction, I think probably not the best for young children. I would say they require human interaction because they are still learning, you know, the social skills like sharing and caring. And I think, you know, human interaction is the best for it. So
it is, yeah. And I think that's why if I took those classes early on, maybe when I was a kid, when I started wanting to learn music, like you said, I wouldn't have the necessary social skills, you know, that developed enough for me to understand fully what I'm getting into. I have received information that we kind of are running low on time, so I do want to give you the platform to just say, you know, one last message you want to give out to the audiences out there.
Okay, I just would like to say that, you know, learning is a huge investment. You cannot really, in my opinion, make a better investment because it affects, you know, the decisions about your health, about your finances, about your relationships as well. And that, of course, at Kuwait Space Academy, you know, we are most happy to help you gain not only skills in the specific areas, but also to help you become more independent and autonomous, not only via our online courses, but also in-person courses, which, you know, have been designed with great care. So thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to seeing, you know, everyone at our academy.
Well, thank you again, Zdena Hruskova,
Well
if I said that correctly. So thank you again, and also thank you to the Kuwait Space Academy for, you know, being such a great, I would say, learning advocates. But again, most important, thank you for taking the time out of your day to come here on Good Morning Kuwait and being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me, really.
Well, thank you as well. And thank you, dear viewers, for tuning in. That was Zdena Hruskova, a senior advisor at Kuwait Space Private Academy. Now, on to the next segment, we do have a report for you, is that who doesn't like the sound of music? The KPO expression, an academy that seizes this vision and to cultivate a vibrant community where the transformative power of music is embraced and celebrated. They aspire to be a flair of excellence in music education, offering private piano and violin classes led by professional instructors who are dedicated to nurturing the artistic growth of each student. To know more about all of this, let's go with our report on Hassan Abbas, owner-founder of this academy, so stay tuned.